Got an exciting one today. The season feels like it's finally starting to happen. So we've got blossoms on trees, buds starting to go everywhere, which is a telltale sign for me to start getting out our pre-emergents and our insecticides as well, because the soil temps are starting to rise. So today we're going to do that. Give a mow on this rye, probably the last mow we're ever going to give it before we spray it out. Try and get some stripes in it and get things prepared for the springtime. Yo mate, what up? Welcome to another lawn tip vid. In a minute we're gonna get out here and put out our pre-emergent and our insecticides, but first thing I'm gonna tidy up this area, give it a mow, and then we're gonna get everything out, just because I'd rather leave a bit of time after applying these products before mowing it again. Like 24 hours is fine, but I like to mow beforehand just because I can. So we'll get a mow on and then we'll talk about everyone's frequently asked questions, because I've been getting a ton of them in emails and on the website as well recently. So I'll answer all those questions for you guys today as well. Well, that was a satisfying mow. Finally got some stripes in here just when we're about to spray it out, because the soil temps have come up. The ryegrass is really starting to thicken up. Next season, I think I'll overseed probably in February. This may not be kike by then though, it may be some cooch, we'll see, but we're gonna overseed a lot earlier next year so we get more out of it. Just did it way too late. So let's answer some frequently asked questions I've been getting over the last couple of weeks about our pre-emergent. So today I'm using Barricade. You can get this in a lot of different sizes. Spartan is also the same product, just in smaller sizes. They've both got prodiamine in them, Barricade and Spartan. And we'll also be putting out, as I said, an insecticide for season-long grub control. You can also use it as a knockdown for armyworm as well. But the reason we're putting it out now is because both of these products last up to 6 months. So we apply it now, it's going to protect us for the whole growing season, so from September through till about March-ish. Now, one of the most common questions I get is, can I apply these two products at the same time? Yes, 100% you can. I'd rather spray down the pre-emergent first and then put down my granular Acelepryn. If you're doing both liquids, feel free to mix them together in the tank. Also chuck a little bit of wetting agent in there so it really distributes across the soil well. But there's definitely no problem with putting them out at the same time. I do it every single year at the same time and I've never had a problem. The next common question I get is, can I apply these before renovation, and will renovation have any impact on the effectiveness of these products? So believe it or not going to have any impact of the effectiveness of these products at all. So get them down before renovation if you can, because sometimes people like to push renovations a little bit further back in the season, but I like to get these products out when we start seeing blossoms on the trees, which is a little bit earlier in the season. So I wouldn't be doing reno on my Kikuyu or my cooch right now, because it's still a little bit dormant. Cool season grass, you could start to consider it, but unless there's tons of frosts around. But that's why I like to get out early and not around reno time. For me, reno in Orange and Melbourne and places like that, South Australia, you're looking more towards the start of September, even middle of September. I'm gonna go a little bit earlier here, just to show you guys the process early. So I'm gonna start to prep things in the next week or two. But yeah, don't stress about putting it out before your renovation. Punching holes, scarifying is not gonna have any impact on the residual of these products. So another main question I get is, what does prodiamine control? So Spartan and Barricade. So the main weeds that it's going to control is paspalum, summergrass, wintergrass, crabgrass, crow's foot. There's a couple of other weeds in there, some broadleaf weeds. Also going to look at oxalis as well. It's going to prevent. It's not going to kill the existing weeds. It's just going to prevent the ones that are coming up. So that's why it's important to get it out early in the season. Now, I've been getting a lot of emails about wintergrass recently, obviously because it's getting towards the end of the season and wintergrass is quite mature from winter. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, there's not really a herbicide that's going to smash wintergrass really, really well, unfortunately, especially mature wintergrass. If you have like wintergrass that is only just popping up, a lot of the herbicides will knock them very, very well, like some Lonro, Powercheck, even Monument and Tribute, just depending on your grass type. But just be aware, if those weeds are mature, unfortunately, none of those herbicides are really going to have a huge impact on those weeds. It's going to suppress them and stop them spreading and growing and going absolutely nuts. But I highly recommend you get on a pre-emergent program, so putting out pre-emergent 2 times a year. So once now and once in late Feb, early March, just so that you stop that wintergrass rearing its head up altogether, because the wintergrass puts so many weed seeds into the ground, it can just go absolutely nuts and spread like crazy. So if you get in a pre-emergent program, you'll start to minimize the numbers very, very quickly. When I say very quickly, 2 to 3 years. But it's better than chucking herbicide into it constantly, like every 2 to 3 weeks, just to try to knock that wintergrass down, or even starting your lawn over fresh again, because you'll probably find wintergrass is going to come back. So pre-emergents are the way to get on top of it. Now the last one is Acelepryn safe around pets? Yes, 100% it is safe, even safe around bees as well. So you're going to be fine. Put this out. I always say to people, don't let your pets or anything back into the area until you've watered in and the product has dried out. But yeah, very, very safe. Also with Barricade as well, same rule of thumb, don't let anyone back into the area, including pets, until it's dried out on the leaf. Should also mention, the main reason we get Acelepryn out this time of year is for grub control. So you'll find, once you start getting keen on your lawn, the grubs tend to find the lawns that are most lush and the most healthy, because they'll get a nice feed off the root system. So they don't actually start planting their larvae in the ground or laying their eggs until like September, October, depends on where you live. Some places it can be a little bit earlier, like up in Queensland. But we're trying to get it out before they do that, because once they start growing and they get to their next instar and the different stages, they start feeding on the grass roots, and that's when Acelepryn kicks in and protects us. Now, also if you're getting something like armyworm, like last year a lot of places got smashed by armyworm, Acelepryn also works as a really good knockdown. So if you see signs of armyworm, more towards November, December and January, and even further in the months there, you can put it down. Don't water in for 24 hours and it's gonna kill the armyworm very well for you as well. So preventative and a knockdown as well for armyworm. So first thing we're putting out is some Barricade, or I guess I said again, some Spartan if that's what you've got, or you need a smaller pack size. This is all available on my website as well. Everything I use in the videos, which is what helps to run channel, build the golf green, do everything in the background. So appreciate you guys' support. But Barricade here, 30 mil per 100 square meters. We've got 200 square meters here, 60 mil of the product. Now this stuff is thick. She's thick as. So that's 60 mil. That was a very good pour. Wowzers. Now I'm going to mix this with some wetting agent. Now the reason behind putting wetting agent out at the same time is soil can be hydrophobic, especially after a long winter where the ground can get a little bit compacted from all the rain and just sometimes traffic walking over the areas. So wetting agent helps break the surface tension and will help the product distribute into the soil properly as well. That's why it's so important to put this out at least monthly anyway during the growing season, not only for water retention, but for when you're putting out your liquid products or your soil drenching products or even your granular fertilizers. It actually helps them soak into the soil properly and the nutrients get down, distributed properly as well. So 100 mil per 100 square meters of Tricure. The reason I'm using Tricure because it's non-burning, whereas AquaTurf can be if you don't water it in after a couple of hours. I'm not going to water these in until we get some rain tomorrow, so I'll let the rain do its thing. We're getting about 20 to 40 mil. Now I'm not stressed if we get that much rain in this area. If it came down in like 10 minutes, I may be stressed, but it's supposed to be stretched out over a long period of time, so not stressed at all. It's not gonna wash our product away. And we don't need to stress about it burning. Oh, and that's, yep, and I poured some straight on the lawn, so hopefully we don't have to stress about it. Well done, Ben. Just gonna water that little spillage in just in case, because that was a lot of straight product on there. Look at this, it's gonna bubble up. Woohoo! No, that spot's not gonna be hydrophobic, that's for sure. Right, Barricade is down, so our Pre-Emergent is in there with the wetting agent as well. Now, I went in 3 directions. You can go in just 2. I'd recommend you don't go in 1, just in case you miss a spot. I've seen instances where people miss spots, and I've seen weeds coming up in strips in some areas. On the golf course, when we used to miss sections with our insecticide applications, you'd see parts that got smashed by a black beetle, and you could see exactly where we had sprayed. So that's why I always recommend going over in a couple of directions, because it's easy to miss a spot without knowing about it. So today we're putting out the Acelepryn at 1.5 kilos per 100 square meters. Now, if you prefer liquids, we do have a 100ml version of this as well, and 750ml. You probably won't need that much, and it covers the same amount of area as a 10 kilo bag, the 100ml of the product does. But today we're going to need a little bucket of it because it's only 200 square meters. So put it out. Again, try and go in 2 directions, and this needs to be watered in as well, but we're going to wait for the rain. It's supposed to be tonight/tomorrow, so it's fine if we leave it in here for 24 hours. It is not going to be a problem. Well, that's all done and dusted. Super simple job really, and it sets you up for a season of protection. Now be aware, if you put Pre-Emergent out, you can't seed for about 4 to 5 months afterwards. I'd push it to 6 months if you can. So if you're looking at doing overseeding this season, maybe spray around the areas that are bare and only put Pre-Emergent on the parts of your lawn that you're not thinking of seeding, because yeah, unfortunately seed and Pre-Emergents don't mix too well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. All the products I talked about today and used are available on my website, lawntips.net. I've also got a newsletter at the moment that I put out weekly, and I'll be doing that throughout the whole season, which gives tons of tips and advice on applications, when to do renos. I've got a frequently asked sections email there that I do once a month as well. So if you jump on my website, you can find a place to sign up to check all that out as well, and for when discounts come around for Father's Day, Black Friday, everything like that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you. Excited for this season. As I've said last week and the following weeks, probably gonna be the best one yet. I'm excited for it. Anyway, bye.